So without much further ado, let's go into the software. Now, one of the first things you'll notice is that it has a double tap to wake and other wake up gestures, which I think is really useful. You'll see that the lock screen is very close to stock, with the standard phone, camera, and unlock gestures. And now we're in the launcher. Now you'll see that the launcher isn't that close to stock as pretty much all the rest of the phone is. And I think that's a very bad thing because I do not like this launcher and I can't stress that enough. And one of the first things that I want to, put attention on is that it puts this ugly frame around every icon, which I don't like at all in the first place. But one of the worst things is that on apps that you install yourself, one night I turned off my device, and when I turned it back on, all these apps had gotten another frame around them. So now all of these apps, as you can see, have two separate frames around them, and I haven't found a way to fix this other than deleting the app and reinstalling it. And there haven't been any updates since I got the device, so I don't know if this is going to be fixed. You see, it has happened to pretty much every app, and if you reinstall it and the frame goes away, it just takes 2 or 3 days before the frame comes right back. So I really urge you to use another launcher and don't use a stock one because it's really not that good. Right here we've got the app drawer with different apps. This doesn't have the double frame problem, so it's only in the the home screen. So let's see, what can I say? I'm going to show you some stock apps, like for instance the settings app, which has pretty much the regular settings. Right here we've got Hotnot. Hotnot is the proprietary competitor to NFC by MediaTek. But as I've said in other videos, this is not that useful because it only works with other phones that have Hotnot as well. And here in the West, those aren't very popular. Right here we've got some device settings. Gesture motion is one of the Doogee ones. We see that we have different custom motions, like for instance swiping with 3 fingers to take a screenshot, swiping with 2 fingers to lower or raise the volume, and others. Right here we've got battery settings, app gesture unlock. These are the unlock gestures, like drawing C to start right into the camera, or drawing an O, or drawing a W. Those you can set those apps yourself. These are just presets. You can just tap this, and then a list of all your apps comes on to make you choose your own starting app. Now moving on, we've got the well-known ones: visitor mode, accounts. Right here we've got a pretty weird one, this name smart somatosensory. I know what it means, but I don't know why they didn't choose a simpler name than that, than somatosensory. It just it means air gestures basically. So you can use air gestures to move between gallery pages and stuff. It works, but it doesn't work every time. So they're it's much easier to just control it with your finger on the screen. But it's it's nice that it's there. That's pretty much it. Like here about phone, we can see the Android version 5.1. Now if we do the tapping thing, screen comes on. All right, we know that. Oh, that's all there. Let's see. Let's look at the gallery app, which has normal way of working. It has this browser that goes by date. You can choose the picture you want to see. It's all pretty basic. It's all pretty close to stock. What else can I show you? The music app, which is also just the basic Android music app. Some other things that I can show you is, probably the notification center, but you've already seen this 1,000 times. It's just a normal Android 5 notification screen with the brightness controls, the connectivity controls, all that stuff. So that's pretty much it for the software. There aren't many, special features to it except for Hotnot. So we're going to go right on with the performance. Okay, so going on with the performance, we're starting off with the Antutu benchmark, which is pretty much the essential benchmarking tool. I've already tested this before, but I've deleted the data, so you can be surprised by the number. I'm going to speed this up a bit. Okay, so now that happened, we see we have a score of 32,121. So that, that isn't a bad score, but I thought that it was pretty underwhelming for this chipset. So I don't think that Doogee have done that well of a job, um, optimizing the performance of this phone. It's usable, and you'll be able to play most games with it, and use most apps. And the 3 gigabytes of RAM really do a lot for multitasking. You can pretty much keep dozens of apps open without having to close any because you're running low on RAM. So, but yeah, I thought this was pretty underwhelming. This isn't an amazing score for this CPU. So yeah, you can see it ranks somewhere down here. Doesn't even have any close competitors on the top 20 list. So yeah, you can see some of the info here, but that's not really that important. But because benchmarks aren't everything, let's go on and test it with some games. Okay, so the first game we'll check out to test the 3D performance is The Harmony of Buku. This is a fun 3D platformer game by DiMartino Entertainment. I really recommend you check it out. So this is a Unity game. So we'll see how the performance is. So as you can see, that was pretty respectable, but we'll see right now, when we go into the level, the frame rate drops quite a bit. So I'd say this is about 20 frames per second, maybe less, maybe 15. It's still playable, it's still very much playable, but it's it's not a smooth gameplay experience. But as you can see, I can still very much play the game. So as I said, it's the performance is good, it's respectable, but for a chipset of this size, and at least in this time, it's a bit under what I expect from a chipset like this. So as you saw, this is a pretty this is a pretty heavy game on the GPU. This is also on a normal quality, so there's 4 qualities. There's high, normal, low, and very low. This is on normal quality. Um, so yeah, if casual gaming is your thing, then go for it, but don't expect to be playing real racing and stuff like that on this. The next, we'll just check out a 2D game for the heck of it. This Atomas, also a pretty good game. It's just a puzzling game, but you see, games like this, you can they play pretty well. So there's not much to be seen here. But as you've seen, 3D games, they work, but when they're, heavy games, they don't work that well. They work at playable frame rates, but not anything smooth. So this is not a performance phone. This is not a gaming phone, not by a long shot.